When you tie an identity to your shadow, it leads to an unwillingness to confront it. Because when you are saying, I am bad because of this or that, you also automatically have something to defend. But when you realize that you are neither your past or the patterns of thinking, feeling, acting and speaking that are present in you in this moment, you can start to look at yourself with clear eyes, knowing that the only permanent thing within you is your oneness with God. Hello from Sweden and welcome to Everyday Mystic, a channel about God, about freedom and about spiritual awakening. And today we are going to talk about the true freedom that we find in God as we are waking up more and more to who we truly are and to all of the things that we are not. You see, when you start to see yourself with the clear eyes that come from divinity, you start to look past all of this programming of shame, guilt and fear that has been instilled in you from an early age by a system that wants to control you. And before we go on, I want to say this. This is not meant to scare you in any way. At the most fundamental level, you are always safe, no matter what is happening out in the external reality. This is about actually becoming free from the fear that has been instilled in you. Because you see, you have absolutely nothing to prove. There is nothing wrong with you whatsoever. And just think about this for a little moment. When you committed all of these horrible actions that you think that you've committed, I know that I have a darker past than most people, but when you didn't you think that this was somehow justified? Didn't you think that this, for some reason or another, is the best course of action right now? Maybe you were like I was, a total nihilist, and thought that nothing really mattered, and when we die we are just going to become worm food basically, so that therefore nothing means anything and I can go ahead and do whatever I want. Then this was the worldview that was driving me. Then I started to have my spiritual awakening. I started to wake up to the fact that we are going to live forever, that there is a God, and that at a fundamental level we are connected with God and with everything else around us. And nothing in the world is really what it seems. Of course, this was a gradual process for me. At first, when I woke up, I was very confused. I had no one to turn to at all with this. I just was flooded with a lot of insights, and then I started to question the insights, and I got caught up in this or that belief system, and I basically got down into a lot of fearful negative programming around basically the spiritual side of life, because this was the culture I had grown up in. These were the structures in place around me. These were the people that I could turn to, for the most part, for spiritual answers. I went to church for quite a long time. I still actually like to go to church now and then because I like the energies in the church. I like the idea of a lot of people being together and gathered in God's name to worship God. I really like this, even though I don't at all subscribe to the belief system. But that is sort of beside the point. What I want to get at is that I went through a very long journey where I, in many instances, beat myself up for my past mistakes, not knowing that I did what was best, what I thought was best at the time. So, when we wake up from this, we realize that there is nothing to hide from ourselves, because none of this is real. None of these programmed patterns that we might still be playing out are real, and none of our past is present anymore. We don't have anything to pay penance for. And the thing is that when we start to have a clear perspective on things, when we start to see ourselves and life and everything with God's eyes, we realize the futility of chasing after things that will be bad for us and other people. We might still do it because we have been programmed to this or that. But we know that it is in our best interest to try to be a positive force in the world. The world has taught us that there is a contradiction between our wants and what other people want. But at the deepest level, we want the same thing that everyone else wants. We want to be a positive force in the world because we know that every little fleeting pleasure that we can get at the expense of someone else is not something that we are going to take with us. And we know that we are going to live forever, and that in one way or another things in the world, even though they don't seem like it right now, are going to start to sort themselves out. The big question is just how much are we going to kick and scream before we actually start to see the world and ourselves and other people the way God does. There is no punishment, there is no guilt, there is no fear, there is no shame. Everything is just about gaining a clear perception. How can a just God punish you for having a muddled perception and acting from that perception? But this is what we are waking up from now. And you see, when you start to realize this, when you start to realize what it is that I'm talking about here, that none of these things that you feel shame for are real, then you can start to truly see them clearly. This is what I'm trying to get through. And what I want you to know also is that everything that you agree to is going to shape your experience. It's going to shape how you are thinking, feeling, and acting. So if you have said yes to that you do have something to feel ashamed of, that you have something to pay penance for, and so on. When you agree to this, this is also the person that you are going to present yourself as into the world. This is going to wreak havoc on your confidence. This is going to make you think very small. Think that maybe I should just settle for these things that I'm not really happy with, that don't really fulfill me, that don't really give me the life that I feel that I am truly called here to do. The system wants you to do this. The system wants you to just go to a job from 9 to 5 and just do what everyone else does because you shouldn't demand anything other than what everyone else demands of life. And now there is nothing wrong with living this kind of life if it's making you fulfilled. Absolutely not. I'm not judging anything. But a lot of us, and especially if you are attracted to this type of material, know that you are here for something else. You are here to wake up. You are here to shake the system. You are here to more deeply and deeply and deeply understand the true nature of reality. And let me tell you, you are so much more than you could ever possibly imagine. I have only begun to scratch the surface of this. And let me tell you, even if I can't show you because all of these things are happening on the inside, just by scratching this surface, I am waking up to that I and everyone else and this reality that we are living in is so much grander than we could possibly imagine. And I just can't wait to see what is around the corner when this process is really going to start to pick up speed. But the system will try to pull you down. Nothing wrong with if you're getting caught up in the system. This is not about blaming anyone for anything. This is also something that you need to realize clearly. You don't have to feel ashamed for feeling ashamed either. We have, as I said, been programmed to this from a very, very young age. Parents are telling us, don't do this, don't do that, you have to stay within this little box. Teachers are telling us this. Employers are telling us this. The news is telling us this. Clergy is telling us this. Politicians are telling us this. The police is telling us this. The law is telling us this. All of it is programming. When you just start to wake up a little bit, you start to come into contact with your own true moral compass. You don't need external authorities to tell you anything. Sure, you can still listen to those that have walked different paths before you. I think you can find enormous value in reading any types of religious texts, as long as you don't derive a belief system from them that you have to follow slavishly or else, because then you are allowing your mind to get hijacked. And that is what we want to get out of here. And know that deep on the inside you are already whole, worthy and complete. And none of this that you see with all of the filters that we project on them, with all of the things that I've talked about, guilt, fear, shame and so on. All of this fundamentally is just movement and energy. And then we filter it and it comes into our brain and it becomes part of our perception and so on. We don't really know that much about the reality outside of ourselves. Our senses decode it in a specific way. But in reality, this little 5-sense 3D reality that you see in front of you is just a tiny fraction of the whole of existence. This is also something that you are going to wake up to more and more. And can you then from this perspective start seeing just how futile it is to be caught up in these little guilt and shame and fear tactics that the system has instilled in you? When you know that the 3D reality that all of this is connected to is just a tiny, tiny little fraction of the whole vastness of experience. So, when you know this, when patterns come up, again, cause and effect, old programming that shows up here, the past is nothing more than what you allow it to be in the present moment. When this comes up, you neither have to suppress or act on it. This is another part of the programming. We have been so conditioned to react to everything that happens to us. When in reality, there is a stillness always present behind the chaos. This is the infinite field of awareness. This is God. This is your connection to God. And when you tap into this awareness, you can choose to be still and then take conscious action from there instead. And if you don't want to do anything with it, if it is just a little trigger, just let it be there. Your body is full of all of these emotional blockages that will disappear on their own if you don't allow it to turn into a behavior or suppress them. Just be there, just accept it, just allow it to be felt. Don't even make an effort to feel it. Just be still and allow it to be felt. Some of you can feel this stillness that is behind all of this chaos. And of course, this is amplified in the times that we are living in. Because we are, make no mistake about it, living in very special times. If you are starting to wake up to this, know that this is absolutely real. This is not just a figment of your imagination. Spiritual awakening is happening. It is global. We don't know exactly how it is going to happen. And when you look out into the world today and all of the power structures and all of this control and everything, it might seem a little daunting. But as I said, this physical reality is just one little tiny fraction of the vastness of experience. And as I said, you are at the deepest fundamental level connected with God as part of God. This means that God is in control here. God is everything. God is directing everything. We don't know exactly how this plays out. We like to draw all these kinds of conclusions from everything. Take a step back from that as well. I don't, for example, know why God is using humans to play certain things out. Perhaps it is because this is what is for our highest good, even if we might not see it, even if we might curse this fact as at our darkest moments. I know that I have for many, many times. I've gone like, God, why can't you just fix this for me? I'm so tired of living with this. But I think that you can also see that when you move past all of these ego distortions that you are living with, there is a point to things being the way that they are, even if we don't have the full picture. But think about this. As I said, this reality, just a tiny fraction of our whole experience. In some weird way, everything is happening in the now, both the past and the present and the future. Time is an illusion. Just think about these concepts that I'm presenting to you. You know this somewhere deep inside that there is truth to this. But we have a tendency to confuse the map with the territory. The words and the truth that the words are pointing to are not the same thing, and if we want to try to get at least some more clarity, it is important to keep this in mind. Because our brains are so wired to think that once it has put something into words, it suddenly understands it, and then it draws a bunch of conclusions from it that are not really apparent in the actual matter of fact. So, you are not here to feel guilt, shame, or anything like that, but what you are here is to understand and transmute darkness. And this is something very powerful. You are not here to pay penance, but every time you bravely shine the light on something that is within you, knowing that this is not who you are and therefore there is nothing to be afraid or ashamed of. It's just what it is. At the absolute fundamental core, you are one with God, which means your soul are pure. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. But you need to shed all of these layers, and this is what you are here to do. Not just when it comes to your darkness, but also with all of these faulty perceptions, this need to be right, this need to put other people in their place, this need to have your opinions assert their dominance over other people's opinions. I know I butchered up that sentence a little bit, but I think you can know what I'm talking about. You are here to let go of all of these. All of the social little games that we are playing, unless we are doing it very openly and everyone is just playing along with it, then it's fine. But everything else, when we are actually trying to gain some upper hand, compete with others in an unfriendly manner and so on, all of this has to go. All of this is something that we need to transcend as we are going through our spiritual awakening. Basically, this is about transcending how our animal nature is making itself known in our higher nature. I don't know if that made much sense, but this is how it is coming through right now. We are living in these social hierarchies, playing these little whatever mating games and what have you. But we, instead of seeing through this, we make all of this neurotic complexity around it instead. Again, we are here to transcend it. We are here to transcend all of this little ego programming, all of these little ego wants, wishes and desires, and come into contact with our true divine nature instead. We are here to live with this transforming understanding. You don't owe the past your life, and don't listen to anyone that says so. As I said, you are not here to pay penance. You are here to live transforming understanding. You are here to adopt a perspective that the world is not yet, that is not really prevalent in the world today, but which will flow into everyday life more and more as more and more people are starting to wake up to their true nature. You were blind, but now you see. You see through the programming. You see through all of this fear, guilt and shame that has been instilled in you from a very early age. And you know that none of this is sustaining you. You know that none of this is supporting you or helping you to survive anymore. Because you are not part of a little tribe where your survival is dependent on you fitting in. You don't have to think that you are bad anymore, and you don't have to fear punishment. So, therefore, go ahead, shine your light, be the person you were meant to be, and look bravely at all of the darkness that is still present in your thoughts, words, actions and speech, and learn to transcend it with humility and self-forgiveness. And I think that is where we are going to stop today. Now, if you want some more educational material, I want to give you a hint that you can go in and check out my and my wife's other channel, Internet Mystic Database. We use a lot of AI on the channel, and I want to be clear with that. But it is our own content. We always add our own material into it, so it's not just letting an AI make something up and then that sounds good, but that is really just a bunch of nonsense and then posting it on the internet. No. We pour our heart into this channel. And we want to make every single video beneficial to the person that listens to it. But this is the best way we have right now to communicate the things that we do know. But here, when we talk in the manner that we are doing right now, it is you and me talking, and this connection is important as well. So, links to the channel in the description and in the comment section. And if you are new to this channel, subscribe to the channel, and of course leave a like, leave a comment and etc. All of this helps the channel to grow, and I would love to communicate with you more in the comment section if you want to. And other than that, just sincerely thank you for your time.